Hey, how's it going? Wanted to talk to you about this video I found. It's from Fox News. Their show Jessie Watters Prime Time. And it's about a week old, I guess now, almost a week old. Anti-work Reddit thread has 1.6 million members. And he's talking to this guy who's, I guess, another one of these children, 30-year-old, who wants to be called a girl, who's doing absolutely nothing as a dog walker. And I guess by the looks of it, well, I don't know. I can't tell if he's living on his own or if he's maybe living with his mom or something. Can't tell, but maybe living on his own. Just spouting a bunch of just absolutely stupid nonsense stuff. And seeing this video and the one with Matt Walsh and Dr. Phil just got me to thinking about what are these kids doing? Well, what's going on? And I noticed a few things. One, and I would say the biggest one, is that these children are having children conversations. But yet everybody's talking to them as if they're adults, as if they care, that talking to these children with facts and reason and logic, it's not going to work. They don't care. They completely just zone it all out. They constantly talk about themselves. It's just this I, me, my feelings over and over and over again. So Matt Walsh and Jessie Watters are just wrong. It's like, yes, technically what they're saying is correct. And if you're looking to make these kids look bad, then yeah, that's what you can do. You can go in and you can smear them and say, yeah, you're stupid and you don't know what you're talking about and all this stuff. And it's like it's not addressing the issue. The problem that these little millennial children are growing up saying is they're talking about themselves and their feelings as if it matters. As if their feelings and what they've experienced and what they want, like it matters. It's like, yep, those are not the facts. The world revolves around facts, and it doesn't matter what your feelings are. It's worthless. If you want to quelch the argument that these children are having, then you need to talk on their terms. You need to say, okay, let's go with it. You need to act as an adult. You need to treat them as a child and talk to them like a child. Get them to think about what it is they're saying. Say, all right, let's apply this and let's see just how stupid you are, you stupid child. Kids do it all the time. They go to school, they hear something from their teacher, and they think, oh, I've got all the answers. I have everything figured out. It's like, no, you don't. You live in a small, stupid little world, which is why you're going to school, so we can broaden that. So then that way, whenever you turn 18 and you're out there on your own, you understand that this is a lot of work. It's really hard. And the first thing that shoots in your mind, it's wrong. And I don't give a damn if, well, no, technically some of them could be right. There's a percentage. Like, no, stop grabbing at straws. You're wrong. That should always be the starting premise. You're wrong. Shut up. Until you go out there and you actually do it, shut up. I don't want to hear any more of your foolishness. Until you get up off your big, fat, lazy butt, you head out that damn door and you make it work, I don't want to hear one word coming out of your mouth. The only thing I want to hear out of you is questions about how to do this. What should I do? How can I make a change? What's really going to take effect? If you're not leading towards a solution by going out there and getting involved, shut your damn mouth. You're just complaining and nagging. You are not solving anything. And that's what these stupid kids do. So let's listen to these two videos and let's see how we can destroy this stupid childlike mentality. Matt Walsh, for example, we'll start with him, is talking to these children with the wrong type of argument. He's talking facts, they're talking feelings. This is part of the reason why Matt is on the far right, because he is not listening to them. He is not coming in on what they need to hear. And it's why these leftists are extremists too, because they're not listening to him either. They're just missing each other. They're just going two different ways in two different lanes, and it's like they're not coming together. That's why I'm a little bit more in the middle. I would say maybe a little bit more to the right, but more in the middle. And it's because I recognize that, you know what, this is just ridiculousness. This is just clown world. Sometimes I think it's like, it feels like I live in clown world, because I don't think that it's just these leftoids that are dumb. I think this about the right too. It's like, Matt's an idiot. It's like, what are you doing? You are here just so intently talking to them as if they're going to listen to you. It's like, who the hell are you? It's like, you're nobody. You are not presenting any kind of conversation that they're going to relate to at all. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to address this conversation correctly. So he gets some of it right on what they need to hear, but it's very little.
I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean I'm actually in those things. So
it's like, that's right. You need to say, I feel, but he's not pushing them. It's like, take this child and say, okay, let's go with this, and let's see how practical this is. Let's make this work.
Your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me.
And that's wrong too. You cannot have any self-perception you want. You know why? Because it's not real. It is fake. It's not going to get you anywhere in life. You are just wasting your life doing that. It's no different than people who just play video games and watch movies and TV shows. All that's fake too. And you can do that until you're blue in the face. And this is going to lead to you doing absolutely nothing except retiring in your parents' bedroom off of hopefully something that they built up to be able to hand to you, which you're going to lose in a heartbeat because you're going to be taken advantage of, because predators are going to look at you as prey because you're just dumb as a box of rocks. So it's not okay. I'm tired of these excuses. It's like it's not right on either side of the aisle.
To take part in that self-perception, or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production.
Because they're not taking care of themselves. They're not helping anyone. There's no utility to any of this. It has not made anything better. They're trying to make things unrealistically complicated by doing things that you cannot do. It's like, well, you need to know my gender pronouns. It's like, no, I don't. How does that work?
You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives.
You don't get your own anything. You don't get to make up your own age. You don't get to make up your own sex. You don't get to make up your own species. You don't get to do any of it. It's all a lie. Every last bit of it. You know, Matt Walsh wrote a little book to deal with this, and he's like, here's little Jimmy, who's a walrus. What's this, a minute 29? And it's here, right here, Johnny the Walrus, and he thinks he's a walrus. And they go and they do all this surgery stuff, you know, and they try to throw him out into the wild, you know, and it's like, no, you can't do it. Doesn't matter what little Johnny thinks. It's not real.
Just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and no matter whatever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant, because.
And that's not too bad. Whenever you deal with children, you need to deal with three things. You need to say, what's wrong? You need to be as specific as you can. You need to be very precise about it. You need to define why it's wrong and then how you can do things better. And so this doesn't quite fit in 100% in with this, but we'll throw it in as well as we can with this.
But that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's
okay? So right. So we're defining it. You don't, or we're making it specific. You don't get to just make shit up. Period. No matter what it is that you think. And you don't get to make it up because it does absolutely nothing. So we're going to kind of stick in a third one right here, or I guess a fourth one in between those original two, and that is we're going to carry out your stupid stuff. We've identified what it is, we've defined it, and now we're going to play along with their little game to show how stupid it is, and then we're going to go ahead and, well, we know what you could do to do better is stop playing games and grow up.
The delusion. Someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be, it's a lot of different. With children, you know, there's also.
What does wow mean? It means absolutely nothing. This is just a little child. It's like wow doesn't mean anything. You didn't get them on anything. If you want to say wow to anybody, the wow is you. Wow, you're so screwed up in the head that you don't want to accept anything that's being said. They're not paying attention. They don't care. Do you think that they have not heard this before? They absolutely have. And it's just this run around circle, just going absolutely nowhere. It's just like a dog chasing its tail.
Just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like that's why when you hear a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl." Look, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question. Well, can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't.
It's like, why not? Little kids in elementary school can absolutely tell you what a woman is. Well, I guess they can tell you well enough on their terms. And it's not this, it's like, no, I can't. You know, if little kids in elementary school cannot tell you what a woman is, it's like they shouldn't be graduating. They failed.
Because it's not for me to say.
It's like, oh, it's not for you to say. Well, then who is it for you to say?
Womanhood looks different for everybody.
No, it doesn't. Womanhood and being a woman is the same. It's a constant. The reason why men went out and worked and women stayed out of the home was because men were the only ones who were able to break rocks, move them out of the way so that we could build roads and buildings. They go and they work on the gas lines. They put up utility poles. They're carpenters, electricians, plumbers. They lay bricks. They move mountains. They build tunnels. They mine for coal and iron and every other ore that we have that makes the materials that we have. They bust their backs in factories. They do work that women just can't do. And we know this because every single man who competes in sport, the professional ones, they just smoke the women. You're not going to tell me for 1 second that every single athlete that's a woman has decided to underperform to let women just to let the guys win. It's like, no. You're going to tell me that there wasn't one woman who said, screw all this, I'm just going to do it? But they're not talking about this. They're talking about their feelings. It's like, yes, you can. And so what would that look like? What if we said, you know what? Gender pronouns are fluid. So how are we supposed to figure that out? How are we supposed to figure out what your made-up gender pronouns are? Am I supposed to read your mind? Go with their narrative, just like you would with a child who's just saying something just absolutely stupid. You have to push them. You have to teach them to think. You have to push them to say, you just can't say a platitude. You have to have something behind it. You just can't say something and be like, oh, that's it. Oh, let's just give poor people money. What's that supposed to do? You think that they've never had money? It's like, yes, they have. You think that they've never had a job? Yes, they have. How did they get there? Well, how does giving poor people money raise their IQ? How does it increase their work ethics and getting a job and keeping it? How does it do any of that? Answer it to me. Don't just tell me some sweet little bullshit. Explain yourself.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what is a female?
This is stupid. It's like, if you don't, why is this person here? It's like, if you can't understand what you damn well know, all society explains a female as, that this is not a point. They're bringing no point. Asking a question is nothing.
You know.
Well,
how do
that's
you define
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing: when you're female, it goes right.
See, the child's got no point. The child's not going to say, "Oh, okay, well, here's how you're wrong." It's like that's not what women are, because they don't have X and Y chromosomes. They don't produce babies. They're not going to say any of that.
Right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can.
See, I've said this before. You can take a child and put them in a room, and they'll just automatically grow up. But not here. You have to put effort into it. It takes a village to raise a child. And he's coming at this person as if this is somebody who's my own age, who should be intelligent, who should be able to think for themselves. It's like, no, that's not right. I've seen this a billion damn times. They turn 18, they graduate high school, and they think, oh, I'm an adult. And they barely scrape by. They don't apply themselves to continuing to develop their mental aptitude, their maturity levels, nothing. And we see this more and more and more today, because there are more and more of these children who just live at home. They live under their parents' wings, being sheltered, being given trophies for doing nothing, and all this other just worthless nonsense BS.
Tell what sex they were, because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Again, your definition is that a woman is someone who is.
No, it is not his definition. It is facts. Those are things, everything that he said are everything that you can do. But this guy doesn't care. This guy's talking about I. Just like that girl before saying I.
No, I can't.
I can't.
Because it's not for me to say.
You're damn right. It's not for you to say. Because this is nature. This is the way that we are built. It is not your feelings. It is not what you feel like at all. It is not the delusion that you have in your head. And he should have stopped him right there and said, yeah, you're damn right. You don't get to, but neither does Matt. And he should have stopped this girl right there and said, you're right. You don't get to say this. You don't get to make this up. I'm not doing that either. You need to grow up and get out of your make-believe world.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
It's like, you're right. You don't get to say that. Because you don't get to make it up. Just like you don't get to make up your age. You don't get to make up your gender, your sex. You don't get to make up your pronouns, your adverbs, your adjectives. You don't get to make up any of it. He should, that's it. He's like, why are you so special that you get to make up your own? How does this work into society? That I'm supposed to go to every place and ask what your gender pronouns are? Because these children, they want that. They advocate for that. Oh, you need to address me by my proper gender pronouns. You can get fined for it. So I'm a landlord, and I've seen stories where landlords have gotten in trouble and they've been fined because they didn't use the gender pronouns that these kids had made up in their head. I can't find the specific story I was thinking of, but this is in 2016. Not using gender pronouns could get you fined. This is from the New York Times. Employees and landlords who intentionally and consistently ignore using pronouns such as Z and I thought it was Zer. Maybe that's the way it sounds, but you spell it H-I-R. I don't know. I don't care. To refer to transgender workers and tenants who request them may be subject to fines as high as $250,000. The Commissions on Human Rights legal guidelines mandate that anyone who providing jobs or housing must use individual preferred gender pronouns. You know what? You need to make this personal. And whenever they say that businesses or government or whatever, they're making this personal. So you make this personal. And they want to lie and live in a fantasy world, then go ahead and lie and live in their fantasy world to prove your point. and say, oh yeah, which business? You know what? I have an uncle or somebody who, or an aunt or whoever, mom or dad, or I do. So if they're talking about landlords, it's like, in this case, it's true. It's like, you know what? I am a landlord. Why should I have to go and ask my tenants their made up stuff? That's none of my business. How does that function and work for me? Is that going to save you from anything? You know what? Whenever I went out there and I bought those properties, I did not for one damn second think about you and your gender pronouns. I don't care. It's fake. What other fake things am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do this whenever I'm screening all my tenants? Or only the ones that I actually take? There are places out there where these companies, where they have hundreds of them. How am I supposed to do that? Push them. Do not let them get away saying this stuff. Push them. Say, how am I supposed to do that? Am I supposed to keep a list of all this stuff? So that whenever I go and see them, I know exactly what to say and not to say, because I've got the Nazi language police up my butt, or I'm going to get a $250,000 fine? How am I supposed to do that? How long is this going to take? It's like, here's an example, is that one of my first tenants, she had little kids, and she was clogging up the toilet, or her son was. He was being potty trained, was putting too much in the toilet, wouldn't flush on down. And she called me up 3 times in 1 week to come over there and deal with it. I was brand spanking new to it. I didn't know any better. I went over and did that. I had to go to the Texas Apartment Association to go talk to them and be like, holy crap, this first tenant that I have with her kid, man, it's eating up so much time. And if this is what I have to do, it's like, I can't do this. This is going to completely eat up my time. If I have just a few more tenants, it's like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. How am I supposed to manage this? And I was told, you absolutely do not. You are not the father. This is not your child. You have absolutely nothing to do with them at all. That is their business. It's their personal business. This is something that she has to deal with. It's like the same thing with this. Push them with this. Oh, yeah? And then just make them take it to conclusion. What if I have 40 rental places? I'm dealing with 40 tenants, plus all the friends and family that they have there. How am I supposed to know all this? Am I supposed to take documentation with me every single time to make sure? And what if they've changed it? What if they go and they change it? Because whenever a tenant gets in, I hardly see them. They send the money, and I don't deal with them unless if there's some kind of an issue, and then we see what's up. And so they could change it, and then it could be several months later. It's like, why aren't you identifying? Is the government supposed to notify me of these changes? Are we supposed to spend more money in the government, raise taxes more, make living conditions even harder? What are you talking about? Make this make sense. How stupid are you? Because it's like they're talking about their imaginations. I feel. Oh, yeah? Well, what else should we do? Well, what else should we include with your feelings? Why should it stop here? What makes you so special that we need to do this for you? What about the people who don't feel that way? What about them? Explain that to me right now, child. Why do your feelings override everyone else's who feel the opposite? Or are you going to tell me that nobody feels the opposite? Why should your feelings override science? Matt Walsh is playing the absolute wrong narrative with this. He should have gone with their feelings. He should have pushed these stupid little twats and said, answer this. How does this work? Well, where could you possibly apply this? It doesn't work at all. You're lunatics. You're stupid. You are children in adult bodies.
Here's the word. So what did you mean when you said trans women are women? You don't know what it means, right?
Interrupting? No, he's not. He's trying to keep you on point because you're not doing it. Unfortunately, the point that he wants to make is a point that this child is never going to listen to. You have to address their narcissism. You have to address this, I'm special. My mommy and daddy told me so. I'm a special little girl. It's like, no, you're not a girl. You're not special. You're a boy. You're just a person like the rest of us. The thing is, you're an adult, you should know better, so you look like a clown. And they should be called out for it.
So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman.
What makes you so special? Why do you get to change that stuff? What's next? Your age? Your race? Or your species? Or are you going to tell me now that not only are you a female, but are you going to say that you're Hispanic too? And that you're, let's say, a monkey from the planet Zobar? How far is this supposed to go? There's no limit, because there's no limit to your imagination at all. You're an idiot.
Woman is because I do not identify as a woman.
I don't care about you. Your feelings mean absolutely nothing. We cannot live at all trying to accommodate people's made-up feelings. Your feelings are entirely from within you. What are my feelings? What are all the feelings that I experience and at every single given moment? It's like, you know what, tomorrow this person could say, you know what, I changed my gender once, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it more often, because why not? It's fun. You know what, I'm a girl now, and you know what, I'm going to be Z and Zer now. Oh, you know what, I'm going to be a fairykin tomorrow. Tomorrow, I just woke up and I had a different kind of mood. And so I want to be a little fairy. I'm just going to flutter around. Oh, isn't this fun? It's like, shut the hell up. That doesn't do anything. Same thing with this lunatic. Same thing with this stupid child right here.
Million subscribers. Joining me now is the person who operates this anti-work group, Doreen Ford.
Doreen. It's like, you know what? Same thing. You changed your name again? It's like, you were called Jason. Before that, you were called Michelle. Before that, you were called Sarah. Before that, you were called an attack helicopter. Before that, you were called, I'm God Almighty. Address me as God. That's my name. It's like, no, I'm not. I have my own life. And I wasn't put on this world to bow down and to cater to you. I'm not going to do it. Not for 1 second. I'm not going to lie about any of this. Your name is not Doreen. It's Michael. And you're a lazy, adult, 30-year-old man who needs to get his head out of his fucking ass.
All right, so Doreen, why do you like the idea of being home and not working, but still getting paid by corporate America?
And all this is going to be is, again, fair narcissism. Well, I don't feel like I should. I don't want to. Me. I feel. My emotions. Don't care. Push them on this. They should be saying, like, how does that work out? Oh, it's not? How about you just get up off your ass and go do something? And until you can make something work, shut up. Come and ask me questions, because you know what? Who's against that? Who's against not working? Who would like to just sit at home and to be able to do whatever you want whenever you want? It's like, I'd like that. Who wouldn't? You know, the only way that that's really going to come in some kind of feasible way is whenever we have robots. Because then we can just have robots that can just go and do everything that we're doing. Whenever robots get to the point where they look like us and they can work like it, then they can do the work. Whenever you have a robot that can grab bricks and start laying them down, when they can grab and cut pipe, whenever they can go and mine, then fine. You don't have to go work. But until that happens, you need to go and get busy. You need to go and figure out how robotics works and move it along. AI intelligence and move it along. Or just, they don't even need AI intelligence. You know what they need? They just need enough to be able to do their job. So it's like, if you have a robot who's doing mining, they don't need to know absolutely nothing about plumbing or electrical or nuclear engineering or how to kill people or put together weapons. They don't need to know any of that stuff. They just need to know one thing: how to mine. And then we can do that for all the jobs that are out there, and then they can just be built specifically, purposefully to cater to us for those jobs. They don't need to know everything. Why the hell do they need to know everything? Why do they need to know how to build a gun to mine? They don't. And whenever it really gets down to it, you would probably want to be able to build that thing so that it would be a better form than the human form to be able to do it. They probably, like, they wouldn't need hands. They would need like a drill bit to drill into it, and then another thing to slot in some dynamite and then light it. They don't need to be able to move all over the place. They don't need that.
Yeah. So there's some misconceptions about the movement. So where a move.
Right. The misconception is that you're a bunch of children who just feel like a bunch of stuff that isn't reality. That's a misconception.
Where we want to reduce the amount of work that people feel like they're forced to.
The amount of work that they feel like that they're forced to. You know where that force comes from? Nature. Like I was saying before, it was men who had to go out there and break those rocks and move mountains, cut those trees, clear the land so we could grow crops, have to go out and fish on fishing vessels during really hard storms, trying to fight against them, to load them up, to bring them back so we can all eat. It's like that fish on that plate, it just didn't jump out of the water, come walking on over. It's like, you're ready to eat me? No, that's not the way that works. Somebody has to go do it. And you know what? Women can't do that crap. They can still be a part of fishing crews, and there's still plenty of things that they can do on a fishing boat. It's like, that's great. If that's what they want to do, fine. And you know what the real answer is to all this stuff there's two answers to this, but it requires growing up. And I'll give it here in a moment.
To do. And so we want to still put in effort. We want to put in labor. But we.
Oh, yeah? You want to put in effort and you want to put in labor? Are you doing that now? Because this guy's a dog walker. It's like, there's no effort in that. There's nothing in that at all. You are doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. A 5-year-old child can go do that job. Guess what? You are a 5-year-old child. You're doing a 5-year-old child's job. Anyone who's competent at all, which starts at childhood, can go do this stupid job.
Don't want to necessarily.
They don't want. There we go with their feelings again. I don't care what your feelings are. You bring something practical, you bring something legitimate, or you shut the hell up and you go do something. And guess what? Walking dogs is never going to lead to it. You are a lazy little bastard is what you are.
Be in a position where we feel trapped.
You are not trapped. You are absolutely not trapped. You are a liar.
Quoted from Office Space, where that person feels very trapped in their job. I think we're calling for a society where there's less of that. But yeah, absolutely.
It's not society. It is not society. It's nature. In order to have food, clothing, shelter, you have to go work. You have to produce. There's no magic wands. There's no robots. Animals didn't gain super intelligence and they're on our level and they've decided to bow down. It's like, I'll do whatever you want to. Dogs aren't barking, being like, you want me to go get you some food? It's like, I'll go cook for you. It's like, animals aren't doing this. Nobody is doing this. We have to do this. And you know what the answer to all of this is? It's like, it's not workers' rights. It's not this lie that they say, because there's the ultimate workers' right that trumps and handles all of this. 2 things. One is quit. What the hell are you talking about? There is nobody there with a gun saying, you're going to stay here and you're going to work, who's whipping you. That's not going on. You want a different job? Go do it. You know what the second answer is? Is you go do it. You think you can get by working less hours? Great. Apparently, everybody has it all wrong except for you. You go do it. Why haven't you done this? Push these kids. Don't let them just say this. Say, all right, let's play your stupid game. If you think that we can just work 20 hours and we're going to be living in mansions, then why haven't you done it? You have it all worked out. Shut the fuck up and go do it. I'm tired of you just sitting there doing nothing, spouting off lies. Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. Get up off your goddamn ass and go show us. Why are you hoarding this from the rest of us? You're some kind of super genius? The fuck you are.
Believe people still want to do things. They just want to do things with.
Congratulations. People want to do other things. Oh, what a breakthrough phenomena insight that you've had. I don't care what you want. There you go with your feelings. Until you make it work, get the fuck out of my face.
Where they feel rewarded and they feel like they're in a good spot in their life.
Rewarded? You know what that is? That's, again, an emotional response. You can feel rewarded with whatever you want to. There are people who feel rewarded doing nothing, walking dogs. You know what? I'm not one of them. I'm not going to make a career out of walking dogs because I want more out of life than that worthless shit. You want to be rewarded. So, and then it's like this guy says, I would feel more rewarded being a teacher and
and that their job respects them and stuff like that.
So Doreen, you're not being forced to work. This is job. The employee, you can walk away. This is about, except it sounds like maybe people are just being lazy. Are you encouraging people to be
not people, children,
lazy?
So I think laziness is, and it's good to have rest.
Day. How many hours is a solid work day in your ideal society?
Sure. I mean, I think as much as people want. I mean, I personally,
as much as they want, their feelings. It's like, what do you have to back it up?
So I would like less work hours.
Mind me asking.
Oh,
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure, I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay. And is there something you want to do besides being a dog walker? Do you aspire to do anything more than dog walking, or is that kind of your pinnacle?
I love working with dogs. If I had to do this for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be super complaining. Dogs are wonderful animals. But
Yeah, you know what? If you really love dogs and they're so wonderful, walking dogs isn't doing anything for them. It's like, why don't you go up a real business? Grooming dogs, having a dog shelter, maybe a dog kennel to watch people's dogs while they go on vacation. It's like there's plenty of other jobs where you could actually have a location, you could provide services to a lot of them and make something out of it. Walking dogs, well, what's the next step for you after that? It's like, you know what, if you're going to groom dogs, you can start by doing that right there. You can have people come and bring their dogs, do them one at a time, and as it gets bigger and it grows more, you can hire somebody, like a little kid, little part-time job to come and help. And as it gets bigger and you've got more people, then you can move out into a separate space. And as that space gets filled up, you can make it into more spaces. You can go into other cities and other states and other countries. What are you going to continue to do after this? What's your next step after dog walking? Are you going to dog walk in several blocks all at once, in several cities all at once, in several states all at once? How does that translate into anything?
But I mean, I would love to teach. I would love to, work with people and stuff like that.
What would you teach?
To teach. It's like, what's stopping you right now? There aren't any cops who are at the school saying, you can't do this. You can't come to school here. You can go to school anywhere you want to. What are you doing about it? Oh, I'm walking dogs. This sounds like something better than walking dogs. What are you doing? Oh, I don't want to. I like sitting at home not doing anything. Children, push them. So this far leftist and this far rightist, it's just clickbait stuff. It's just, I would say in this case, Fox News, they're just using these children for clickbait. Because what did Fox News do? Nothing. They need to say, why do your feelings matter? Why are your feelings, how do they trump reality? Oh, you're just super smart? Then why aren't you doing it? Stupid. That everybody else since the dawn of time has been working on this. Now you think that you're magically going to figure it out? You and these other 30-year-olds who are sitting around with their thumb up their ass? It's like, are you even addressing it? You know what? If this is such a big thing, why aren't you pursuing economics? Why aren't you pursuing business and looking at the structure that we have and seeing where you can make changes? This little child doesn't know any of it, hasn't done any of it. So yeah, whenever you're dealing with these children and you're having these arguments and you really want to get to the heart of the matter, take take all that stuff aside and address their feelings and push them. Still, this is what's wrong. This is all about your feelings. Why is it wrong? Because people cannot read your minds. It does not serve any kind of utility at all. There's no limit to your imagination. And then in this case, there needs to be another one, and that is, let's go ahead and play your stupid game, and you explain to me how this works, and I'm going to push back on it, and I'm going to tear it all the fucking apart. Because we can't do this with 8 billion people on the planet. Nobody's out there working around your feelings. What makes you so special? And then what can you do that's right? Get your head out of your ass. Get up, stop being worthless, and go make things better. Because it's like, yeah, you want people to be more helpful with your feelings? Then get on the same page so we don't have to get into this argument over nothing. Do your part. It's like the reason why we can drive in cars, which are these big monstrous machines built out of plastic and glass and metal, being surrounded by complete strangers, is because we all do the same thing. It makes it easier for everybody. And that if you just weave back and forth in the lanes, people are going to think, oh, that person's drunk, or they're about to fall asleep at the wheel. And if they do that, it's like people die. If they're driving while drunk, if they're driving while they're sleepy, accidents happen. And it makes things worse. And that's how it is with everything. Whenever people get on the same page, whenever it's like, we don't have to go ahead and make up all these stupid gender pronouns if we can keep it as short and sweet and simple as possible, and everybody's on the same page, it's much easier. Oh, you're a boy? How about you dress like a boy? You're a girl? How about you dress like a girl? That's easy. I don't have to get to know you. I don't have to consider your feelings. I just know because it's just blindly obvious. And then, oh, that's great. Man, I was able to get in and out of there real quick. I just got my burger, and I didn't have to play fucking 20 questions to figure out what you're feeling at this moment. Stupid. Seems like a good place to stop. Where are we at? Oh, over 40 minutes. God, went off. I was just tired of this. It's so stupid. So thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment or two. People are commenting a little bit more. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.